Okay, welcome everyone, family, friends, saints. This is Kevin with Establishing Zion. I just wanted to give a brief clip of what my Establishing Zion study map looks like. This is a living document, so it's gonna it's changes, and it's been added to quite a bit in the last month or so. I started building this a couple months ago as I've learned more and more about different topics of Zion and the gospel. And I'm like, well, I got to keep track of this. So my brain works um, in in uh, in some sort of order like this. Works better in having some sort of organization. It's not the best, of course. I mean, I could probably do a lot better, and there's people out there that could do a lot better to organize these type of things. But works for me. I work with Excel with my job a lot, so I'm like, I'll just throw an Excel spreadsheet. I'm in Excel with my scripture study template as well. But anyway, this is the start of many clips that I want to put together. I want to talk about the doctrines of the gospel. So all these topics are going to fit within this study map. And this is based off of the Doctrines of the Gospel Institute class. I want to go through each of these things, and I think it's really important for everyone who wants to learn how to establish Zion. Zion is a people of one heart and one mind, and so you have to have the correct truths of the doctrines. And so the first chapter is on divine truth, which points out that truth is not relative, truth is eternal. And so if we do not have the same truth in mind, you cannot be of one mind in Zion. So having a knowledge of each of these doctrines is really important for every member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So that's going to be part of the first part. And then I'm going to be looking at a lot of the individual responsibilities of establishing Zion. That's kind of the main reason I wanted to do this channel. There's a lot of topics that relate to establishing Zion. Now, the great thing is a lot of saints on YouTube and other forums have shared their studies and presentations regarding a lot of these topics, like the scattering of Israel, the lost 10 tribes, the redemption of Zion, covenants of the house of Israel. And so I'm going to reference those. For example, Joseph Smith's return to help establish and redeem Zion as part of his patriarchal blessings and part of the scriptures, Isaiah 11, the 35 chapters 16 through 23. And so a lot of us don't know about this, and it's been part of my studies. That's eye-opening. And so I'm referencing a lot of the work that's been done already ahead of me so that I can reference that and do my own study. And so I can still keep it organized, okay? And I do that by saving what others share online for downloads, and or I can link them to YouTube videos, and you'll see that later. This is something I just had recently of following the prophet. If you've noticed the last few years, starting about 5 years ago in April of 2016, that is when I really started to wake up. I remember sitting, it was one of the first general priesthood sessions that was being aired over the internet, and where I didn't get to go with my dad to the stake center. I wasn't feeling well, but I still got to watch it from home. And I remember sitting there in my chair on my laptop, listening to the prophet talk about paying the price for more priesthood power. And it was a wake-up call. And when he said, those who are diligently seeking to be taught by the Lord himself, I felt that prick in my heart, and the prompting to wake up and do better and to be better. And that was another one of his talks. I think that was a later talk, to do better and be better. And so he's talked about these different things. We need to seek truth relentlessly, study all of the topics of Jesus Christ in the topical guide. In the October 2019 General Conference, he asked us before the April 2020, the unforgettable conference, to study Joseph Smith and the Restoration. Before that, he talked about the Book of Mormon and what it affirms, what it refutes, and what would ask us the question, what would our lives be like without the Book of Mormon? Last conference, we're past the last conference just by a couple of weeks, but in October of 2020, he talks about the covenants and blessings of Israel, and that we should study those, and that we'd be amazed. And then, who are we? We talked to the millennials about being true millennials, and then about the youth to become part of the battalion of youth, the Lord's battalion. And he asked all of us to ask the Lord how he views us and what our purpose is and how we can progress the kingdom. And then this last conference, some of the things that stood out, not being a lazy learner. And so definitely going to relook at his talks, and faith really is the huge one there. But we're gonna use this study map to study the gospel as it pertains to establishing Zion. So all of these things right here, the prophet is preparing us for the upcoming tribulations, the tribulation that will refine the church and pretty much separate. Last year in April Ensign, he said that the time is soon coming, that the Lord will separate those who obey his voice and those who do not. And he said 2 years ago, for those of you who are struggling with your testimony, find out now that time is running out. And he said 2 years ago to those people that time is running out. And even for those of us that are maybe more involved in the scriptures and more active in the gospel, there's still a lot of time running out for us too. We have a lot to do within the time that remains. Anyway, so these topics, types of shadows of Zion, lots of good stuff. Temples itself, as it pertains to Zion. Prophets in Zion, the principles of Zion. The antithesis of Zion, Babylon. We'll talk about Babylon's conditions and tactics, things like that. Especially, I want to talk about Jesus Christ. I want to include Jesus Christ in our study, because he is the King of Zion. He is our King, and we should get to know him. And that's also part of what the prophet has asked us to do, and it relates to establishing Zion completely and perfectly. So there you have it. This is a template. If you are interested in stealing it from me, I'm happy to do so. I don't really have a place other than you just emailing me, establishing Zion 718 at Gmail. So email me at establishingzion718@gmail.com if you'd like this template. I'll be happy to send it to you. But you can make your own, a better one. Make a better one. So with that, we'll continue to upload things as we have time. Work and family and other issues have taken my time. I'd like to post a lot more often. Appreciate you listening this far. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and good luck in your efforts to establish a Zion.